Okay, so today I'm going to take you through this little rhythm guitar idea in the key of C that I've come up with. It's full of like little slides, little kind of poppy lines, little kind of thirds and stuff like that. And it'll work over kind of a C or C major 7 tonality. There's a great video on YouTube, by the way, of Paul Jackson Jr. called The Science of Rhythm Guitar, and it's pretty awesome. You should definitely check that out. A lot of these sort of ideas I'm using, a lot of those sort of ideas I'm using in this lesson. So I'll start by going through the phrase itself, and then after that I'll take the ideas into a little bit more detail and explain about how they came about, so that it may inspire you to come up with your own ideas if you'd like to. Okay guys, so the idea starts at 3rd fret, and I'm basically playing thirds here. So I'm playing 1st fret on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and middle finger on the 4th fret, 3rd string. And I'm going to turn down a little bit. I'm playing those two together. Then I'm using my 3rd and 4th finger to play 2 notes, one at 5th fret. So you get, okay, and I just alternate between there. Okay, and that'll work nicely over a C major 7 chord. Okay, because of the extensions of bringing in. So I had that to start with. Then I did this little popping idea, okay? And that's just C major pentatonic basically. So I'm playing 5th fret 4th string, 7th fret 4th string, and then the 5th fret 3rd string underneath it. So we get, okay? And I kind of mute it with my palm as well. Give it a little bit more dynamic. So we got, that's the first bit. All right, and then the next part, I'm gonna move over here and I'm playing 7th fret 3rd string, and 8th fret on your 2nd string, and I just slide that idea up and back down. It's a classic sort of Hendrix inspired lick that. Okay, and you can kind of add vibrato if you wish. So we got, it's first part, okay? So that's the first time round. The second time round starts exactly the same. Okay, so it's the same idea as the first idea. Then we've got this, okay, and all this is the same shape that we had at 7th, but I'm going to move it up to 12th and 13th, right? So I've got 12th 3rd string and 13th 2nd string. I'm going to hit the 2nd string, hammer on to 15, and then back, then pull off. So it's like a 13, 15, 13. Again, a bit of a Hendrix thing there. And it's quite nice and short, so we get all the way up to 12th. Okay, and then the last little closing bit is quite a nice idea based around what's essentially just a C major scale shape, which is that. All right, so I'm starting, so it's 1st finger 8th fret 2nd string, middle finger 9th fret 3rd string, and 3rd finger 10th fret 4th string, and we've basically got, okay, now rhythmically I play around with it, we get, okay, so I basically play those two together. Then I bring the 3rd finger in and play 4th and 3rd together. And then I move back so that I've got 3rd finger on the 9th fret 4th string, and my 1st finger comes in on 7th fret 3rd string. So kind of, okay. And also I'm adding in palm mutes to that as well, which helps kind of add that little bit. So that second time round is, yeah? All right, whole thing together goes like this. So that's how you play it, guys. Now all these ideas are really taken, obviously inspired by lots of great players, but really what I'm doing is taking just taking notes that exist in C major scale and combining them in a way that really works. One of the things you can try out doing is harmonising in C major. Now all that means is playing your C major scale, but actually playing 2 notes at once. So instead of playing like, you can actually add another note into that. So we get something like, etc. etc. Okay, so I'm just adding that extra note, and then you've got a whole sort of array of different little thirds and things you can mess around with. Now I'm doing a lot of palm muting as well, which is another thing you need to think about, but play around with some of those thirds ideas, that should sort of help. Another thing I did was take the sort of major pentatonic, which I talked about, which is at 5th fret. Okay, and again, you can just use notes from that to create your own little parts. And then you could combine that with double stops. I don't know, something a bit cooler than that, but you get the idea. So again, I'm just taking the scale. I particularly find that 5th fret, 4th string, 7th fret, and then the root on 3rd string work really nicely together. A lot of bass lines are built with those notes as well. Okay, so another thing that I did was take a kind of a double stop here. This is actually a 4th. So this is like, where did I do it? I did it on 7th. So I had the D and the G together, and just sliding between the upper tone. Okay, it's a really simple idea. Makes such a difference, just doubling up those notes. So find anywhere those notes exist within C. Okay, and just experiment and mess around with those ideas. I think mostly that was it, okay? And then the rest is kind of just experimenting with the rhythm, and also obviously I was heavily using a lot of kind of palm muting with the right hand. Again, it just kind of allows the part to be a little bit more dynamic, which can cut through the mix really nicely. You can also obviously experiment with your pickup. You get a bit more of a kind of throaty sound, where as opposed to a kind of, I don't know, it depends what you're after, right? But there's lots to experiment with, but even just taking the thirds as an idea is really useful. Experiment with it in different keys, and then depending on what you're coming up with, either steal some stuff I did, or steal it and improve on it, and it should really help you to create your own parts. Alright guys, I really enjoyed that. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.